How do shadows look in each GTA game? And how do they change as the sun's position shifts? Do artificial lights cast shadows? Let's dive in and examine each one. But before that, let's disable that graphics mod we're used to seeing in GTA 5. Alright, now we're ready. In GTA 3, it's hard to say that Claude even has a shadow. There's only a small circular shadow underneath him. The NPC shadows are the same as Claude's. In GTA Vice City, Tommy's shadow looks the same as Claude's. It doesn't look like a human shadow, but more like the shadow of an object. The NPC shadows are not any different. In GTA San Andreas, CJ's shadow is better than Claude's and Tommy's. It aligns with CJ's shape and movements, but since it's faint, it's hard to make out the shadow. This applies to NPC shadows too. In GTA 4, shadows become more defined. Nico's shadow aligns well with his movements and is much clearer, as are the NPC shadows. The best is in GTA 5, where Michael's shadow looks incredible. It's perfectly aligned with his every move and stands out because of its dark shade. The NPC shadows are just as impressive. What about vehicle shadows? In GTA 3, the shadow of a car appears directly beneath it, regardless of the sun's position. In GTA Vice City, it's the same. The shadow is always under the car, and if you step out, the shadow disappears. Motorcycle shadows are also fixed, not following the bike's shape. In GTA San Andreas, the car shadow aligns with the car's shape and the angle of the sun. However, not all parts cast a shadow. For example, when a door opens, you don't see its shadow. For motorcycles, there's a mismatch. The bike's shadow is clearer, but CJ's shadow is blurrier, creating an odd look, though it's not a major issue. In GTA 4, car shadows are even better defined, and you can see the door's shadow when it opens. The motorcycle shadow is also quite good. In GTA 5, the car shadows are similarly clear and defined, with door shadows visible when open, and the motorcycle shadows are flawless. Even the bike shadows are very detailed and look great. There are no building shadows in GTA 3, and most objects lack shadows as well. Only a limited number, like street lights, traffic lights, and trees, cast shadows. Also, the elevated railway casts a shadow. In GTA Vice City, it's the same. Buildings and most objects don't cast shadows except streetlights and similar objects. In GTA San Andreas, while buildings don't have distinguishable shadows, areas with more buildings look darker. There's little difference in objects, with large items like streetlights and big trees casting shadows, while smaller items like picnic tables do not. In GTA 4, this changes. Buildings have clear, sharp-edged shadows, and every object casts a shadow. In GTA 5, building shadows are even sharper and look stunning, with every object casting a fitting shadow. Do shadows change as the sun's angle shifts throughout the day? Let's start testing this in GTA 3. Surprisingly, in GTA 3, as hours pass, the angle of the shadow changes, but it remains the same size. The difference becomes even clearer when they are side by side. And at night, the shadow continues to exist for some reason. GTA Vice City is very similar to GTA 3 when it comes to shadows. In fact, it would be more accurate to say it's the same. The shadow's angle changes over time, but again, the shadow size doesn't change. GTA San Andreas is better with shadows than GTA 3 and GTA Vice City. Could we see an improved result this time? The angle of the shadow changes throughout the day depending on the sun's position. Unfortunately, whether it's noon or sunset, the shadow size remains the same, never changing. Also, the shadow continues to exist at night, even though there's no strong light source. The stars? I don't think so. Maybe shadow size detail was added in GTA 4. Let's take a look. Good job, GTA 4! The shadow's angle changes from noon to evening, and the shadow itself gets longer. We finally got the result we were waiting for. So what happens when it gets dark? Does the shadow disappear? No, the shadow continues to exist even at night. You might say it's due to the moonlight, but that's not the case. The moon is fixed in place, yet the shadow's angle changes over time. This is likely because the game adjusts the shadow's angle based on where the sun will rise. In GTA 5, both the angle and size of the shadow change throughout the day. Around sunset, the shadow gradually fades and eventually disappears entirely. That's impressive. We looked at how shadows appear on the ground, but do they also appear on walls? Claude's shadow is so small that it's no surprise it doesn't appear on walls. Since Tommy's shadow is the same as Claude's, it also doesn't show up on walls. CJ's shadow is more realistic. Maybe it shows up on walls? Well, this time GTA San Andreas is a bit of a disappointment. CJ's shadow doesn't appear on the wall. However, even though CJ's shadow doesn't show up on the wall, the shadow of a car does. Fortunately, this isn't true for every wall. On some walls, CJ's shadow can actually appear, even there's a noticeable shadow discontinuity where the shadow meets the wall, making it look broken at the edge. Here's an interesting situation. CJ's shadow even shows up behind walls, creating an odd visual effect. GTA 4 is known for its physics. Hopefully it won't let us down. Nico's shadow successfully appears on walls. Excellent! And Michael's shadow, as it should, appears clearly on the wall. In real life, shadows become less visible when it's cloudy. But is this also true in GTA games? In GTA 3, we know that shadows look like this in sunny weather. Now, let's check on a cloudy day. Surprisingly, in such an old game, Claude's shadow becomes less visible. And in rainy weather, it's quite hard to see. GTA Vice City is a copy of GTA 3 in terms of shadows. Shadows are clearly visible in sunny weather, but in cloudy and rainy weather, they're harder to notice. Are the results the same in GTA San Andreas? When it's cloudy and in rainy weather, the shadow doesn't disappear completely, but it does become less intense. The results in GTA 4 will surprise us this time. As expected, Nico's shadow is quite visible in sunny weather. But what about cloudy weather? Well, maybe it'll disappear in rainy weather. Oh, GTA 4 failed this test. Even in rainy weather, the shadow is quite distinct, as if it's still sunny. It's funny that this detail exists in GTA 3, but not in GTA 4. Will GTA 5 give us the same illogical results as GTA 4? When we switch to cloudy weather, the shadow's visibility decreases. And in rainy weather, the shadow completely disappears. The sun isn't the only thing that creates shadows. Artificial light sources can also cast shadows. In GTA 3, you might think Claude's shadow stays fixed when he walks under a streetlight. But no, this detail actually exists in the game. It's hard to see, but if you look closely, you'll notice a second shadow forming for Claude. As he walks under streetlights, Claude's second shadow changes angle. Honestly, I didn't expect this. However, car headlights don't create a second shadow for Claude. I'm not sure if this detail is in GTA Vice City, because even though Tommy walks under different streetlights, his shadow doesn't change angle. Maybe it's there, and I just couldn't see it. If you managed to spot it, please let me know in the comments. In GTA San Andreas, CJ has a fixed shadow at night. Even when he walks under streetlights, the angle of his shadow doesn't change. Also, car headlights have no effect on shadow creation. Did anything change in GTA 4? Yes. In fact, there's an option for night shadows in the game's graphic settings. If you set it to very high, Nico's shadow will change angle when he walks under streetlights. This is a nice detail for a 2008 game. Let's also test it with vehicle headlights. As you can see, Nico's shadow is cast on the wall by truck headlights. And as he gets closer to the garbage truck, his shadow gets bigger. To help you see it better, I placed an NPC nearby. As you get closer to the NPC, their shadow gets even bigger. But there's still a flaw. This flaw is fixed in GTA 5. Before testing with car headlights, let's try with a streetlight. When Michael walks under streetlights, his shadow changes angle, just like in GTA 4. When we test with car headlights, the NPC casts two shadows on the wall. This is because cars have two headlights. The two shadows created by two light sources make GTA 5 impressive. If you break one of the headlights, only one shadow is cast. GTA 5 performed really well in today's tests, so what are your thoughts? Could GTA 6 do even better? Also, I highly recommend watching the video on your screen, Forgotten Places in GTA games. See you in that video.